Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to the channel. We've got a bunch of brand new buffs and nerfs that are available on the Overwatch experimental play card right now. And the big news is we've got a pretty big buff to REINHARDT, and this is pretty mental because REINHARDT, well, he hasn't been buffed for a very long time. And if you're a REINHARDT main, you know that is difficult, really difficult to play him. You just get soaked in damage, you get destroyed. It's kind of sad. So changes to REINHARDT, I'm all for those. Also, we see Baptiste getting his Immortality and Amplification Matrix nerfed. It's about time that Immortality field, or as everyone likes to call it, lamp, has actually been looked at because it is such like an oppressive ability. It's so powerful. Also, we see changes to D.Va, and we're going to dive into some extended dev comments on things that are going on. And we're just going to very quickly touch on Priority Pass. So let's talk about the REINHARDT buff. All right then, these are the details. Base armor increased from 200 to 250. Rocket hammer damage increased from 75 to 85. Now that is massive. An extra 50 base armor on REINHARDT is going to make him way more durable when he's doing melee damage. And that is exactly what this is all about for REINHARDT. It's a melee DPS buff, because they've also increased the damage of the weapon, the rocket hammer, by 10 when it hits a target. So you've got more armor when you're swinging your hammer, because of course you can't use your shield as you're swinging your hammer with REINHARDT. That might be pretty insane. But you've got more armor, so you're more survivable. You last on the front line in theory longer. You do more damage, right? This means REINHARDT could be a bit of a better brawler, and also maybe lead from the front tanking by just rushing into the enemy team might not be as suicidal. Now the dev comments on this are: the intent of these changes is to slightly bolster REINHARDT's frontline presence once he closes the distance with an enemy. The increased rocket hammer damage will reduce the number of swings necessary to eliminate some heroes, so we'll be keeping a close eye on the overall impact of this change. And of course, this now means that if REINHARDT does 2 swings, he's doing a certain amount of damage there, isn't he, ladies and gentlemen? Which means that he's going to kill a lot of heroes. So, yeah, I'd love to see what goes on with that. Anyway, there is a little bit more information that weirdly they didn't bother to include this in the patch notes. They just sort of made another forum post about this. It seems completely redundant. Just put it all together in one post. But this is what they say going into a bit more detail on REINHARDT. REINHARDT's kit requires him to be up close and personal with enemies. So we want to make sure that he's still capable of fulfilling his role as he closes distance with the enemy. This will include an increase to Rocket Hammer's damage, and we'll keep an eye on how this performs. So those are the REINHARDT buffs. D.Va. Now, this is a buff, I think. It's a change to D.Va, but I think this actually will help her quite a bit. So, the mech armor and health have been redistributed from 200, 400 to 300, 300. So, it's even now. Now, the dev comments here are: we're increasing the ratio of armor to health that D.Va's mech has to enable it to withstand more damage from shotguns, beams, and weapons of high rate of fire. And then the additional information, again, this should just be included in the patch notes. It says this: we're attempting to make some adjustments to D.Va's mech that should allow for her to sustain more damage from shotguns, beams, and weapons with high rates of fire. Armor blocks 5 damage for each individual hit that deals 10 or more damage. We feel that the reallocation of 100 of D.Va's health towards her armor will allow her to better perform within the tank role. And this is true, because think of the counters to D.Va. Your Symmetras, your Zaryas, well, they're beam damage. Soldier 76 does loads of damage to D.Va. Well, he's high rate of fire. This is all going to give D.Va more survivability against those heroes. So it's a good buff, I think, for D.Va. We've not been seeing much of D.Va getting played recently because she just gets absolutely destroyed by everybody else who's in the meta. So I quite like these changes for D.Va. Let's move on to Baptiste. So Immortality field, the health of the actual drone itself has been reduced from 200 to 150, so you can kill it faster. Amplification matrix, the ultimate cost is increased by 15%. Which I think is fine, given that it's absolutely massive now and really quite strong. But the big one here is Immortality field. And the dev comments are: to adjust Bapiste's overall power for the recent increased effectiveness of his biotic launcher and amplification matrix, we're taking some durability out of Immortality field and increasing the cost of his ultimate once again. And the further details are: we've been seeing quite a bit of feedback recently that recent changes to Baptiste, namely buffs to his biotic launcher and amplification matrix, have resulted in him overperforming within the support role. We're looking to adjust this now by reducing Immortality field's disc's health, I don't know why they don't just call it a drone, and increasing the amount of ultimate charge required for amplification matrix. And I think a lot of players will be really happy with this, because it's still going to be a powerful ability because you can still use this behind line of sight. So you can throw it like behind a pillar on, I don't know, Temple of Anubis, or you know, the main choke or the first choke on Defense Volskaya Industries. You can throw it behind the truck. There's loads of things you can do where the enemy can't get to it, and it will just prevent damage. It is still a really good ability. Probably one of the best just standard abilities in Overwatch. Probably will need looking at again, but it's good to see that Blizzard are looking at this. Okay, and finally, a little update here to the new priority pass system. Now, this isn't live yet. This is still on the PTR. I guess this will probably go live next Tuesday if we go with a standard Blizzard launch kind of schedule. And this is from the community manager, Josh Nash, and he says, quick play and competitive play will both have priority passes, but these will be separate, meaning you won't be able to use the priority passes earned in quick play within competitive play. And I think that makes sense, because you don't want to just be running through quick play, because obviously quick play is faster, right? You only do one attack or one defense phase, whereas competitive is longer. If you could just do it in quick play and win a bunch of tickets and then blast them in competitive, that will be kind of strange. I am looking forward to seeing how this system actually gets implemented, though, because it could be really good for the game. It's going to be a delicate one that needs to be tracked. So there you go, guys. That has been the update as to what's going on the experimental card. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, remember, like the video, subscribe to the channel and all of that stuff. And do remember the Get Value hoodie. I believe it's very close to running out of stock now. If you do want one, you need to click the link in the video description below, and it will take you through to the store, or go to unitlost.com/store and check that out. All right, guys, I'll catch you on the next video. Toodaloo.